You walk through the door, your dog runs toward you, and then something strange happens. Instead of simply greeting you, they start sniffing your clothes, your hands, your shoes, sometimes even circling around you like they're investigating where you've been. But what if that little sniffing ritual isn't random at all? Your dog may be gathering information about your entire day in a way you barely notice. And the most surprising part is this: they're not just smelling you, they're reading what happened around you. To your dog, coming home isn't simply a reunion. It can be a moment of information overload. Humans experience the world primarily through sight and sound, but dogs depend enormously on their sense of smell. Their noses can detect chemical traces that are far beyond what you consciously notice. So when your dog presses their nose against your clothes after you walk through the door, they may be picking up scents from places, people, animals, food, plants, surfaces, and countless other things you encountered outside. Think about how different your clothes can smell after a normal day. Maybe you sat in a car. Maybe you walked past another dog. Maybe someone touched your jacket. Maybe you visited a store, a park, or another house. You might come home thinking you smell exactly the same. But to your dog, you may have returned carrying an entire collection of new information. And this is where their behavior becomes fascinating. Sometimes your dog doesn't immediately go for your face. They investigate your shoes first, then your trousers, then your hands. Why? Because different parts of your body and clothing carry different environmental odors. Your shoes, especially, have been exposed to almost everything you walked across: grass, pavement, soil, other animals, cleaning products, food smells. Your dog can encounter all of those traces at once. But there's another reason your dog may seem especially interested when you come home. They know your normal smell. Your dog lives in a world where familiar scents create a kind of emotional map. Your everyday scent is part of what makes you you. So when something changes, even slightly, your dog can notice. Maybe you visited someone who owns another pet. Maybe you were around strong food. Maybe you used a different soap. Maybe you spent hours somewhere completely unfamiliar. You might not notice the difference. Your dog might. And that can explain why the greeting sometimes feels different. One day your dog jumps all over you. Another day, they seem unusually focused on sniffing. Another day, they briefly investigate you and then move on. That doesn't automatically mean they're upset with you. Their behavior can simply reflect how much new scent information you're carrying. But here's the part most owners overlook. Your dog may not just be interested in where you went. They may also be checking whether everything about you seems normal. Dogs are extremely sensitive to familiar patterns. Your voice, movements, body language, and scent all contribute to their recognition of you. So when you return home, your dog can combine several different signals at once. They see you, they hear you, they smell you, and they compare that information with what they already know. That's why a dog can sometimes seem to inspect you. It's almost like they're saying, "Something is different today, let me figure out what." And there's an even deeper layer to this. Dogs live through associations. Certain smells become connected with certain experiences. The smell of your jacket might predict a walk. The smell of a particular bag might mean you're leaving again. The scent of food might signal something exciting. The sound of your keys might predict your arrival. Over time, these associations become incredibly powerful. So imagine your dog hearing your keys, recognizing your footsteps, and then smelling you as you enter. All of those signals combine into one meaningful event: your home. That's why the greeting ritual can be much more than excitement. It can be recognition. It can be information gathering. And sometimes, it can simply be your dog reconnecting with a familiar part of their world. But what about those moments when your dog suddenly smells you much more intensely than usual? That's where things get interesting. If you come home carrying a completely unfamiliar scent, your dog may spend extra time investigating. Perhaps you visited a veterinary clinic. Maybe you were around another animal. Maybe you handled something with a strong odor. Your dog doesn't know the story behind that scent. They only know that something changed, and their nose is the tool they use to investigate it. If this is changing the way you see your dog, hit like and subscribe, because once you start paying attention to these tiny behaviors, everyday moments with your dog can suddenly become much more meaningful. Now watch what happens next time you come home. Don't immediately push your dog away if they want to sniff your shoes or clothes. Give them a moment. Observe what they investigate first. Notice whether they lose interest quickly or keep returning to the same area. You might discover that your dog has been doing this every day without you really thinking about it. And there's one particularly fascinating possibility. Your dog may sometimes be reacting not to a completely new smell, but to a change in a familiar smell. That distinction matters. Imagine you always come home smelling like the same combination of your usual environment. Your dog becomes accustomed to it. Then one evening, something is slightly different. You spent time somewhere else. You were around unfamiliar people. You encountered another animal. Your scent profile changed. To you, nothing happened. To your dog, something doesn't quite match. That may be why their nose suddenly becomes more active. But remember, sniffing alone shouldn't be treated as a perfect translation of your dog's thoughts. Dogs can sniff for many reasons, and individual personalities matter. A curious dog may investigate everything. A more cautious dog may become especially focused on unfamiliar smells. Breed, age, training, environment, and previous experiences can all influence behavior. So the goal isn't to turn every sniff into a secret message. The goal is to understand the world from your dog's perspective. Because once you do, something beautiful starts to happen. You stop seeing your dog's little behaviors as random. You begin noticing patterns. The way they investigate your shoes, the way they sniff your hands, the way they pause before greeting you, the way they recognize you before you even say their name. And perhaps the most emotional part is that your dog doesn't need to understand where you've been in the human sense. They simply know that you were gone, and now you're back. Your scent is familiar. Your voice is familiar. Your presence is familiar. And after spending hours in a world filled with unfamiliar smells, you walk through that door carrying hundreds of new scents. But underneath all of them, your dog still finds you. So the next time your dog sniffs you from head to toe after you come home, don't just think, "Why are you smelling me?" Think about what their nose is doing. They're exploring information. They're detecting change. They're reconnecting with something familiar. And in their own incredibly powerful way, they're reminding themselves that the person they know has returned. Your dog isn't just sniffing you. They're experiencing the world through you. And sometimes, that tiny nose pressed against your hand is one of the quietest ways your dog says, "You're home."